Hey there, in this short video we'll be discussing the Cybex leg extension machine, or better yet, the knee extensors. This is going to work primarily for those quads. As we stated in our previous video, it is a little lengthier, but it does give you a little more detail specific to the machine compared to what we'll be discussing here. So we're going to make quick adjustments. The range limiting device, which is over here on what we call the cam, can be adjusted by pulling that pin out. This can also be done in the seated position. You also have your backrest, and you have your support here, which will be up against the shin bone. So first things first, let's make sure that we line up relative to the axis of the machine here. So you'll see this round circular guide with little arrows on it. Make sure the lateral aspect of your knee is in line with this. Don't want to find myself too far forward where the knee's in front of it, nor do I want to find myself way back here and creating in both positions additional stress to the joint that we do not need. This machine unfortunately gets a lot of bad rep. A lot of times folks say not to use it because of the knee. Well, we need to make sure that we are in the proper position before we can just immediately eliminate the exercise. It's not for everybody, but it is a great piece when you can actually use it. So I need to bring this up just one click. Actually perfect there for me now. Okay, so now from this position, I'm going to test my ability to flex my knees. So I'm going to flex. I have this much range of motion. I'm going to go ahead and bring this back relative to my ability to flex my knee. I'll make my adjustments very quickly. Remember, with the top dial, 5-pound increments clockwise, counterclockwise -5, and 20-pound increments on the actual bottom pin itself. You can do this exercise with both legs or with a single leg, depending on what your goals are. If you have a limitation with, let's say, one of your knees and you need to strengthen the other side, or actually the side that may be weaker, then go ahead and do so, all right? And I'll show you how to. Another thing we'll notice with this is we want to make sure that this thing isn't way down here, okay? So don't want this on the top of that shoe. If it's okay with you and you're not feeling discomfort through the actual shin bone itself, bring this all the way up. It doesn't have a locking pin, so you actually have to place some pressure up against it so it's not sliding on you. Once that's set, and the reason for that being set really quickly is so that it creates less stress to the actual knee joint itself because it's closer in proximity. Being that it's closer in proximity is going to create less friction or sliding forces, they're also known as shear force. It will move sometimes, so when you find that happening, make a quick adjustment, get it back in position, okay? Just stay in contact at all times. Now another thing we'll see as well is the hips rotating outwards. Some folks just sit down and their hips veer out. So what I want you to do is try to keep that knee in alignment with the actual mechanism. Rotate your hip in a little bit. And that doesn't mean bring your knees together. That just says rotate it in a little bit. Now as we start to extend through the knee, then we'll feel the actual muscles involved. Going to grab these handles. This is going to actually keep my butt down, and I'm also going to prevent myself from hyperextending my lower back. So make sure you're wedged into that backrest so that when you're working through this, you're not finding yourself have to manage other parts of your body. So I'm all set up now. My weight's adjusted. My knee joint is specific to the actual axis here, and my pad here also to support and give me less, or provide less stress for the knee joint. As I come up, I want to make sure that I'm focusing on my squeeze. So at the end range of motion, I want you to hold there. Make sure that you have a weight that is good enough or proper for you to maintain this position. If it's too heavy and you can't lock out all the way, probably a bit too heavy for you. Or you may notice that you can't fully extend your knee. That all depends on your range. So if you've tested yourself out, and let's say you're only able to go so much, and that's what you do, right? That's where you work. And maybe a limitation structurally or whatever may be going on with that knee. Same with flexion. If I've been, once again, we tested that out to set the range for me, but if I'm only able to flex my knee so much, then what I can do is make an adjustment specific to that, right? Specific to your anatomy. So let's say I'm only able to flex my knee this much, then that's where I'm going to start. So I'll extend out, same exercise, nothing changes, right? I just won't be traveling as much through that range, okay? But once again, you have to explore and make sure that you're able to do what's right for you. Now, one thing I like to do for folks that aren't able to feel these muscles right away, we'll do a quick pulse. And what I mean by that is that, so I can set this all the way up, and what this will do is I have a lot less travel for that first repetition. I can work just from up here, and I'm going to extend the knees. So small little partial motion, all right? What that's going to do is going to create a little bit of a pump through here, right? Now I can feel those muscles working. Maybe I can bring it down a little bit and work on a pulse from here to here with a little bit more motion. All right, for some folks, it's a good way to warm that joint up. All right, feel the muscles. You're gonna say, okay, got it. Now we can go to our full range. I did mention earlier that we can do a single leg as well. So once I'm set in position, I can do one leg at a time. Control, This is also good for rehabilitative work, right? If you need to work on something you have going on with one leg versus the other. Okay, that is your Cybex leg extension machine. You have your adjustments, your modifications, and once again, if you need to refer back to the length of your video for more details, please do so. If you have any questions, get in contact with me. I'll help you out. Have a great day, and thank you again.